What up, YouTube? Welcome back to the vlog. Been a long time since it's been a long time since we've done one of these vlogs, man. So let's do end of the week report and do some more trucking update.
Lay with me, if only for a moment, only for a while. I regret letting you go, and you were mine.
So this week or last week, this week, week 19 now. Can't remember, man. I can't remember what week we on. But I know the last couple weeks I haven't made an actual long form video like this that talks about our numbers and whatnot. But I'm probably gonna eventually get away from talking all about these numbers because it's like, as you can see, it's proven already that with the way we're doing it, the way I'm approaching it, as far as like looking at the load board, doing all of these other things, it looks like we're gonna be averaging about 260 a mile on all miles. That's being here, okay, being here where we are right now, and thankfully we have those loads coming, those oversized loads coming out of Fremont, Nebraska, and that's what's really boosting our rate per mile overall, But this week, let's talk about this week, right? So this week, or last week, was Veterans Day, right? So on Veterans Day, we had all of these, whole shebang. If you haven't seen that live already, it's somewhere in the channel. Anyway, we made a couple of live videos on those, and I did take some of you guys' comments in consideration as far as how to approach it properly, and I agree with you that is just a bad broker within a brokerage. So I am going to be contacting some of those higher ups within the Ryan Transportation and let them know the situation and tell them what the story is and how it went down and things like that. And hopefully that they look into it, and hopefully just get rid of that broker in particular. So anyway, so this week we went from Fremont, Nebraska, or not Fremont, but we were in Council Bluffs, Iowa, right? And then trying to look for a load on Veterans Day because the week before that was not a very good week. We grossed like 5,000 or something like that, and so we ended up like having like 3 days off to ourselves or some crap. I can't remember exactly, but it was not a very good week. But anyway, we started the week off over here in York, Nebraska, right? We picked up a load out of York, Nebraska, took that to Sheridan, Wyoming. From Sheridan, Wyoming, deadhead all the way back to Fremont. I knew there's a good chance I was gonna do that. Okay, that's 720 miles of deadhead, man. 740, I think. So anyway, we deadhead all the way down there, picked up an oversized, took it to Mankato, Minnesota. From Mankato, Minnesota, we deadhead back into Fremont. We took another oversized, took it to Aurora, Colorado, and now we are here on the way to Grand Island, Nebraska. We're gonna go get us an oil change, and we're gonna wait for tomorrow, which is Monday, and see what the market is looking like. Okay, more than likely we're gonna be taking another load out of Fremont, Nebraska, oversized load probably. So anyway, that was a total of 2,960 miles, okay? And we grossed a total this week of 6,877. That's a total of $2.32 a mile on all the miles. And the truck average on the MPG wise, man, it hasn't been good, but I think I know why. It's because of the winterized fuel, okay? But anyway, I'm gonna put the average at 7, even though 50% of that was deadhead, right? 50% of 2,960 miles was deadhead. There was a lot of deadhead. I'm still gonna put it at 7 because it seemed like the truck is doing a little bit funky things. Because I think it's because of the winterized fuel, believe it or not. I think it's because maybe we picked up some winterized fuel from somebody and then picked up non-winterized fuel. Well, that's why it's kind of like fluctuating. So this area, we're averaging about 3 $3 ish per gallon. It's been cheap here lately. It's been, or it's not cheap, but decent prices. It's been coming down, just a slight coming down. But anyway, with that, when you multiply three, I'm gonna multiply it by 3.5 cents, because there was a couple of times I grabbed fuel at 3.15 and 3.18. But there was a few times that I grabbed under under 3. So I'll put it at 305. And when you multiply 305 to 422, that's a total of $1,287 we used in fuel, and that's 21% off the gross. We're still not doing bad when it comes to fuel to ratio. You know what I mean? I mean, just, we did like 50%. Like, I think it was like 1,400 and something miles of deadhead. That's a lot of deadhead, man. That's a lot of deadhead. So anyway, out of that 2,900, that's 50%. You know what I mean? Almost 50%. So I think I still like these numbers. I don't mind these numbers. That's why when we ran into that issue with Ryan Transportation, I said, you know what, screw that. We're gonna take this load going $4 a mile going to Sheridan, Wyoming, even though I know in the back of my head that the odds of us coming out of there with any kind of load, even a partial load, is probably gonna be very slim. There was a couple of possibilities, but those guys were like BSing the whole time. You know what I mean? Most of the loads, average loads coming out of Sheridan, Wyoming, are gonna be like 46,000 pounds, and more than likely it's gonna be some type of salt or lumber or something else that is really, really heavy, and it pays straight garbage. When I say straight garbage, I'm talking about you can't even break $1.60, $1.70. That's pretty messed up. There was a couple of loads like man lift and self-load and self-unload, but the problem is, like, there's so many trucks down that way in Sheridan, Wyoming, that are bringing up freight down that way, is that these loads, even though these loads are, that self-load is still kind of a little bit unique, but you still got a lot of Stepdecks with the same setup as me that are going up down that way, And a lot of these guys, these brokers, what they've been doing is they'll have like one load, and they'll have like 5 or 6 freaking carriers lined up for that same load. So they'll take your phone number, and then they'll be like, okay, I'll call you just in case anything changed with this load. That's it. Okay? A lot of times they won't call you. It's okay. Don't call me unless you send me a rate card. You know what I mean? So anyway, when you look on TruckStop or DAT, you can see that there's more loads out of Wyoming than trucks. That's true and false at the same time, because the problem with that is that they have a lot of loads out of there, and it's, like I said, it's all heavy in lumber and all of these other stuff, right, that a lot of times requires tarps. And they're not paying nothing. They don't want to pay anything. They don't want to increase the rate or nothing like that, because a lot of times that kind of freight doesn't have to move. You know what I mean? It doesn't have a time frame. If they can move it over there, they can move it over there. And if they have to slightly move up the rate on it, they will do that. But they will never be like, okay, last minute thing. You know what I mean? Like lumber and stuff like that, that's never a last minute thing, So that's what they call, a lot of people call backhaul. See, I don't like that. I don't like that term, a backhaul. Like I know we're making a lot of money going in, right? I mean, not a lot of money, but decent money going in. But for you to justify something like that, like a full load that you require tarp, I know you're going down that way anyway. I get it. But how much time does that particular load take you, as far as like compared to just deadheading? You know what I mean? That's why I went ahead and deadhead, because I knew, well, my situation is a little different, right? I knew that I was going to pick up oversized loads out of Fremont, Nebraska, so I know they're going to be good rates. So it's like, it's, I guess it's just situational basis, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. All I'm saying is that the way I figured it out, right, the way I thought about it and calculated it. It would cost me $220 in fuel, okay, to deadhead from Sheridan, Wyoming to Fremont, Nebraska. Or I could have picked up something heavy in like on the other side. What is that? Bighorn Mountain or something like that. So you have to cross this mountain. I've been there when I used to work for Western Express. I picked up there a couple of times. So you have to cross this mountain, or you got to go around up to Billings, Montana, and go south, or you got to go to Casper, Wyoming, and then go across another mountain over there. Not as bad as Bighorn, but and then go north to go pick up this particular load. That's paying $1.70 a mile. I told him, nah, we'll just go ahead and deadhead to Fremont. 705 miles or whatever, 40 miles or whatever, and then and we'll just go pick up oversized load from there. So anyway, that's how the week went, right? I think it's not bad. We drove a lot, 3,000 miles for me in a week is a lot, man. For me in particular. There's some people out there be like, oh man, you got soft hands. People out there out here driving 5,000-6,000 miles a week, I don't know if they're doing it legally, but anyway, overall, it's not a bad week. We're getting ready to go back home here soon. It's gonna be it's Thanksgiving, so we're gonna be celebrating Thanksgiving with the family, going up to Salt Lake and things like that. So the truck is gonna be taking a break, and I don't think I'm gonna be coming back down this way as soon as I come back down that way, back to home. I don't think I'll be back down this way in this area until sometime next year, maybe after the winter, I don't mind operating in the winter. I don't mind operating in the snow. I don't got no problems with that. What I have problems with, a lot of new drivers out here, they just don't know how to act when it comes to, winterized condition. You know what I mean? It's like, some of them are overreacting, but that's better than some of them that are not way underreacting. You know what I mean? So, but there's a majority of them, they just don't know how to, they haven't learned that trait yet that, well, maybe I should slow it down. You know what I mean? Maybe I should, keep my distance further, than what I normally do. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, So it's, yeah, it just they still lack on that decision of being, what do you call that, defensive driver, just like that guy in front of that other guy, he's driving so close on the tail of that other guy that if there was something to happen in front of the guy that he's following and he has to hit his brakes, this guy cannot hit his brakes and react fast enough to not hit that guy in front of him. You know what I mean? Those kind of things, So anyway, yeah, it's been a good journey down here. I learned a lot my time down here within the Nebraska. As a matter of fact, I would, if you would ask me, where would you operate? I would rather operate within this area right here. Right now, the load board doesn't look that good. Okay, it doesn't matter where you go, as far as open deck wise. Okay. It doesn't look, you see that guy right there? He's hauling partials, right? I don't know where they're getting these partials from, really. When I look at these partials, man, on the board, nah, it ain't even worth messing with them, really. The kind of rate that they're asking to move them for, it's pointless to mess with them, man. If I got me a full load, okay, if I was to find a full load and there's room in that full load, okay, yes, I'll mess with a partial. But other than that, putting together a partial to move across the country, it's not even worth it, man. Because like I said, the crap that they be posting on these rates is just straight garbage, man. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. If you were to ask me where should I operate as far as trucking, I would say definitely Kansas. Kansas is not a lot of freight in there, but you can find some things out of there, some good ones coming out of there. But anyway, Kansas, Nebraska, a little bit part of South Dakota, and then Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, uh, as far as a little bit of maybe Indiana, not too far into Indiana, Illinois, obviously. Um, Missouri, Missouri is kind of like one of those states where you're like, you know, it's not bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'd say this is definitely the area as far as open deck. I would say you can definitely make a decent living out of here, moving. You know what I mean? Trying to survive. That's basically what we're doing. It's just barely above what people are offering, right, on the board, and we're surviving. You know, that's I think that's the best we can do. There goes the new Humvees. Those are brand new Humvees. You know, I don't mind hauling military loads, man. A lot of times, man, on these load board, it's like the military loads they're offering, man. It's like it's junk, man. It's straight garbage, man. So what I need to do is I need to move on to getting the authority operating directly with the DoD. You know what I mean? We're gonna try to tackle a lot of that next year, okay? But as far as right now, we're doing okay. Here, November and December is coming up, right? Or mid-November already. But anyway, the next couple months is gonna be pretty decent running Amazon. Okay, it's not gonna be great like it was before, but it's gonna be decent running Amazon within the Southern California and Las Vegas area. It should be, at least, and maybe as far as Salt Lake. We'll see. But that's why I don't think I'm gonna be coming back into this area for a while. You know, and it works out perfectly because I really don't want to work in. I don't want to drive on icy roads or snowy conditions when a lot of drivers on the road don't know how to act. It's just like I said. I know my way around snow. I know my way around driving in harsh conditions, and I'm very confident in my ability to drive in these conditions. But with other drivers, when you factor in other drivers that don't know how to act around it, it makes it a very dangerous situation. So anyway, that's it, man. That's the end of the video. I think it's a good week. 6,877. Why is it 77? You may ask. So that load coming out of York, Nebraska, right? They had it posted for 2,300. I said, let's go 28, man. And they said, man, I don't even have that much in it, man. He was like, let's go 2450. How about that? Can you meet me somewhere in 2450? I said, man, I'll meet you at 26. 26, it's my lowest, man. He said, I tell you what, man. What? Let's do 2577, and that's every single dollar I have in there. I said, okay, man, let's go. 2577. That's why it became $77. I don't think that's very true, but that's not bad, man. That's not bad. Like I said, that's gonna put us almost to $3.80 a mile, $3.70 a mile to take that load all the way down there. But we had to deadhead all the way back into Fremont, but that's okay because there was nothing going on in Fremont, right? And I was looking at the load board. There wasn't a whole lot of things going on the load board as well. That's why I went ahead and took that load. Remember, if you guys been watching the channel a while, you'll know that when I say we're in a rut, you just gotta do something to make changes to it, and then come back to it, and then you'll see that it made a big change. And sure enough, it hasn't made that much of a change, but Fremont had loads coming out, so made a big difference. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the end of the week. So we'll see next week. We're going to be operating until towards the end of the week, and then we're going to try to make our way home back to Vegas. So we will see y'all in the next video.